Don't put yourself in harm's way just to please someone else. Like, stroke his hands and hold it and squeeze. I'm losing my mind here. This guy has absolutely no credibility, no authority to stand on, and absolutely is a trash human being for spreading this. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Veronica, and today I want to sit down with you and take a look at a video that I just saw a snippet of, and I went, oh, I need to react to this. We need to talk about this. And it is basically, we're going to dive into a video made by the Manosphere's personal psychologist. And he is, like, the channel is called Psyhacks, and like I said, I just saw a snippet of it and I was like, oh my god. So we're gonna watch this video together and we're gonna talk about it, because today is the first time in over a week that I feel healthy enough and I have enough energy to even fucking sit up. So we're gonna ruin that by watching Manosphere content because I am so kind to myself.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych-Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is how to get any man you want the hook. All right, so this is the second of a three-part series addressed to women who are interested in having the relationships they want with the men they want to have them with. The three caveats are the same. If you neither need nor want a man, then this episode is not for you. This is not about getting any man, but about getting high-value men that you actually want to be in relationships with. And this is not a moral or ethical exhortation for women to act in certain ways, but a discussion of effective, pragmatic strategies.
AKA, I'm not telling you how to act, but this is how you should act to get high-value men. Can we just stop calling high-value men? You as a man have value because you fucking exist. It just bugs me, the whole thing. Yeah, everything in this bugs me, but you know, high value, whatever. And this guy also just saying, like, this is not me telling you how to act or anything, but if you want a man, a high value man, you gotta do what I said, okay? Like, stop being such a liar. I know that you're pandering, I know that. But it still bugs me, like, especially when he puts on this veneer of like, we are having a therapy session, we are talking real psychology here. And I hate this, like, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I hate when these people really put up a front of being like logical and having emotional awareness and, you know, giving validity to this fucking mindset where it's all a game and you have to behave a certain way and you have to look a certain way. It's just like, you sound like you make sense, but if anyone just paused and thought two things about, like, take a second. If people just paused a little bit and thought about it for more than 2 seconds, they would go, but what about this situation, and this situation? Okay, and then it all falls apart. Guys like this is just stroking your ego and reinforcing what you already think. The worldview you have in here, he's just going, yeah, you are 100% correct, and anything that is wrong in your life or in the world, it's because of those people over there. And usually, as always, it's women. These guys can put up a, oh, I am making this series because you asked for it and this is for the ladies, and it's just like, no, it's not. You're just pandering to men. Okay? Anyway, this type of content really bothers me, and we're like, what, 40 seconds in? Anyway, unfortunately, let's listen to what he has to say.
Let's get to it. As I discussed in my first episode, a woman can get any man that she has direct access to, and the master key to unlock that relationship is being useful. This means providing value that is instrumental in helping the man in question achieve his goals and fulfill his mission.
That's just being in a relationship. That has nothing to do with women in relationships or men in relationships. It's just, you're in a relationship and you should want to support your partner or partners in achieving their goals and dreams and all of that stuff. That has nothing to do with, oh, women you need to be useful. Anyone needs to be useful in any type of relationship, sexual, romantic, like platonic, whatever. If you care for someone, you want to support them in their journey, and that includes being their fucking biggest supporter with whatever endeavor they're doing. And then it's just, so it's not gendered, is what I'm trying to say. This is, you just are, okay? It's a relationship.
Understand that the responsibilities you take on in this regard are a privilege because they are what allow you more intimate access to the man you have in your sights. If you can succeed in integrating yourself into the day-to-day logistics of his life, it will be next to impossible to extricate you with de facto commitment. Just like men have to earn their sexual optionality with women, women need to earn their commitment optionality.
Oh, okay. He's the whole thing where women are the gatekeeper of sex and men are the gatekeeper of commitment. That's what he's saying. So all he's doing is just taking established manosphere talking points and then putting a psychology veneer onto them and going, here, it's validated now. You can point to this. That's what he's doing. All right.
With men. However, this by itself is not enough to seal the deal, especially in the modern age. There's one other thing you have to do.
Please note how he said in the modern age. Yeah, because in the not so modern age, women didn't have a choice, okay? That's why that shit isn't good enough anymore, because it never was. It was never a choice for women. It was men making these decisions saying, you're with me, I own you, I get to do whatever the fuck I want with you, shut up. And women didn't have an option. Now, the aristocrats, they might have had that option because their family could still take them back if they got divorced, if that even was approved, all of that stuff. But most women, like usual, does not have the same option as the rich people. So yes, it's very important, like especially in the modern world. Yeah, duh, because this is the first time women have options.
And this is why you need to have direct access to the man in question. The second thing that women have to do to get any man they want is they have to be the nastiest, sluttiest version of themselves they can possibly be.
This is the clip that I saw that inspired this video, because it's just still blowing my mind that people are still out there saying women need to behave in this particular sexual way to get a man. No, you don't. No, you don't. There are millions, billions, I would dare say, women who do not behave in that way and still end up in relationships. Relationships, hopefully, by their choosing. You do not need to behave in any other way than what you are comfortable with. Will it potentially take longer to find someone that is on board with that? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, of course, but that's true for everything. Even if you are the nastiest, sluttiest self, there's no guarantee that men that you're looking for is gonna, 1, stick around, 2, value that, 3, they're still not gonna respect you. Any man who says things like this, who believes these things, do not respect you as a human being. You don't want to be with them anyway. If you want to be the nastiest slutty self, you do you, babe, as long as it's coming from you, right? I said this before, I don't know if I kept it in a video, but there's 2 sluts inside of you, all right? One that is created by the fantasy of men, and the other that is created from your own desires. Now, you should always be the second. The first one will always be that you have the male gaze, you have the sexualization of women, the objectification, why is that so difficult to say? Objectification of women, etc. The degradation, whatever, words. The talking down about women, not respecting women, all of that stuff. This stuff. That is still gonna be there. What you need to do is find it in yourself, be the sluttiest, nastiest person for yourself. That's the whole thing. If you want to be the nastiest, sluttiest self, go ahead, do it, be safe. But you do it because you want to, from in here. And then you will do stuff that is for your own pleasure, and you will not be just used and discarded. Because the men who think like this, the men who speak like this, they will have sex with you and they will discard you. And of the off chance that you are stereotypically, conventionally hot enough that they stick around, they're still not gonna treat you like a full-fledged human being that deserves respect. Therefore, this, null and void, gone, ignore, do your own thing. But we're making a video, so I don't want to say let's hear him out, but let's just listen to his words, but don't actually take in anything because this is already like,
I'm not kidding. A lot of women will do the right thing with the wrong men. They'll sleep with a cute guy, but one with no real chance of a future on a first date. But when they meet a man with potential, they'll say that they're dating intentionally and they're looking for something serious and want to take it slow.
You don't trust women when they speak. That's what it all comes down to. You just think that women say stuff, and this whole thing implies that you think that they are lying. If they say those things when they meet a man of value, then they mean that. If they chose to sleep with a cute guy on the first night and it doesn't lead anywhere, there's no difference here, okay? There's no difference. She make choices about herself and her body, and then that's it. No judgment, no criteria, no game, no nothing, all right? Saying like, oh, I'm dating with intention. Okay, so maybe the cute guy that she had sex with on the first date was someone that she found, oh, it's cute enough, and I'm feeling it, I'm having emotions, I'm horny, all right, let's fuck. But not looking for a relationship. And here comes a guy that they perceive as, hey, there's actual potential here for a long-lasting relationship, and I want to feel this out, so I'm not gonna sleep with him on the first night in case it ruins something. Or she's not horny that night, all right? Whatever. I know that these people also think that they adhere to this notion that women are not sexual beings, they don't like pleasure, they can't orgasm, blah. You know, idiots. I mean, that in my head, all the people who speak like this, talk about this, they still adhere to that notion that women are not sexual beings. They can't feel pleasure. It's a chore for them to keep a man. No, idiot. Okay, fine, keep talking.
Should be the other way around, ladies. The less interested you are in a
Stop
committed
talking down to
relationship with any
people.
given man, the longer that person should wait for sex, and vice versa. Why is that? Because sex is reinforcing. It's a reward for men. And there's no point in acting like you don't understand this, because you tend to withdraw it as a punishment. So you're aware.
Here's also another thing that really bugs me, is because he's taking these notions and then just ascribing them wholesale. Women withhold sex. Men only desire sex. He's removing nuance. Like, that's what all of these people do. They remove nuance because everything is context-based. Okay, context is key. You have to keep that in mind. Nuance plays into it. Situation plays into it. Some women withhold sex for whatever reason. Some men are only looking for sex for whatever reason. That's not wholesale. Women do this, men do that. Fuck off. People are people, okay? We're complex. We contain multitudes. There's layers. Peel the onion, if you will. I have a lot of feelings about this.
Aware that sex is reinforcing. You just typically go about applying that reinforcer not in the most intelligent manner. And I'm here to tell you that if you like a man, if you're attracted to him, and you can see a potential future with him, you need to throw the good stuff at him as much as you can, as fast as you can. There are several reasons.
No. throw the good stuff on him. All of this is just saying, hey, I want to make it easier to have sex with you. You should have lower standards for me and higher standards for him, because I want that coochie, okay? In my head, all of these are like 12-year-old boys that are thinking themselves edgelords. Like, if you keep that in the forefront of your mind, anyone who speaks like this 12-year-old edgelord boy who just, yeah, whatever, that whole thing, all the bullshit just kind of gets stripped away and it becomes humor. It's quite fun. Throw the good stuff at him as quickly as possible. How about we let people do what it is they want and what they feel comfortable with? Because if you don't want to have sex on the first date, or you want to wait, but Honey Boo Boo over here wants to do it quickly. If you don't do what I want you to do right now, then we are not going to go any further. Well, by definition, you are not compatible. Let him go. Also, you don't want a guy like this, because he's gonna continuously mistreat you because it is a transactional thing. He doesn't view you with inherent value. You deserve better. Take care of yourself, okay?
Why this is a good idea. In the first place, withholding sexual opportunity doesn't work with men with a lot of options. As I discussed in the episode, How to Have a Fulfilling Sexual Relationship, if your diner is closed, your customers aren't just going to wait around in hunger. They're going to go to another restaurant. The only men on whom this strategy works tend not to have other places to eat. And it works because they reason that waiting at that restaurant will still get them fed faster than finding another option elsewhere. However, since people want what other people want, I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that the man that you're targeting as your best option isn't going to be one of these guys. Women desire in groups. If you want him, other women do too. So
there is some stuff that supports this claim, but not in the way that he puts it forward. And that is the fact, like, okay, if one woman desires this guy, then more women will desire this guy. It's not necessarily incorrect, but it's also not necessarily true. Because what it is, like, if we think about it, okay, like, just do a thought experiment with me here, doctor. What could potentially be perceived by other women when a woman desires another man who wants to be in the presence of a man? Why would other women look favorably on him? Could it be that, oh my God, he's so good in bed? Or is it that, oh my God, he's high value because, I don't know, he has money, I guess? Or could it potentially maybe be that he has portrayed something that makes this woman feel safe with him or comfortable with him, so that it becomes kind of a stamp of approval from another woman, which showcases that, hey, this guy is pretty safe to be around? Could it potentially be that is the reason why certain men have more women around them, sexual or not? No one will ever know, I guess. The big mystery of the world. Anyway, you were saying?
This strategy isn't going to work with this guy. He's just going to move on to someone who's open for business. Some of these guys may have thousands of options. You need to get to the point. Think of the sexual opportunity as your elevator pitch. You may only have a very small window of time within which to demonstrate value, and that window may not open again anytime soon. In the second place, unlike women, men have what's called a refractory period. I'm sure you ladies have encountered this in your dating lives. Most men are thinking about sex constantly. Thinking leads to looking. Looking leads to finding.
Hold on, I need to I need to double check that's what he said.
Unlike women, men have what's called a refractory period.
That is not what that means, okay? He's putting it forward as if this when you meet a woman or whatever. Refractory period is exclusively in terms of actual physical recovery. When he says we during sex, why I'm saying sex all the time. Why am I making that? When he orgasms, ejaculates, the time it takes for him to get to the point where his little boy is getting up again, using his terminology here. It's not his terminology, but I imagine that it is something that he would say. It is between him ejaculating to when he's ready to go again. That's what the refractory period is. And it can vary depending on age, how much water you've been drinking, how well, like how strong you are, specifically in the like core and pelvic region, all kinds of stuff. Are you on medication, etc. It's a whole dynamic thing, but he's portraying it as if it is something that is like attention based regarding like in a dating situation. It's not. It's a biological recovery time for men between ejaculation and raring to go again.
I'm sure you ladies have encountered this in your dating lives. Most men are thinking about sex constantly.
Oh my God.
Thinking leads to looking. Looking leads to finding.
He's
finding
a fucking idiot.
The only time men aren't thinking about sex is immediately after having it. Now, men have a thing for novelty and variety, which are as rooted in their sexual instincts as strength and symmetry are in women's. So while throwing sex at him isn't a guarantee he won't look elsewhere, it is, by far, your best possible strategy to prevent that.
Or it's just that you happen to find a guy that is looking for more than just sex. Could be that too. Who knows? We will never know. It's so confusing.
Food isn't interesting when you're full. So you don't want the man you're targeting to eat at another restaurant, right? So be sure he doesn't leave the house hungry. If you can provide that at a cadence that matches his libido, then you will functionally acquire a monopoly over his sex life.
Yes, if your libido matches his, or if you're willing to make concessions, compromises, and so is fucking he. Oh my God, it's about compatibility. If a woman isn't feeling like she wants to have sex as often as a man, she does not need to have it just to keep her man. Like, fuck off. The same way goes the other way around too. If a man does not want to have sex as often as a woman wants, he does not need to have sex unless he wants to. And before anyone says like, I saw a comment before, like, oh, this is what leads to cheating. No, what leads to cheating is someone choosing to cheat. You can get everything you need at home. You have your cup filled constantly, whatever, and you still cheat because you choose to cheat. That is the only thing that is relevant in this. That's the precursor, whatever. You being a shit person and cheating has absolutely nothing to do with your partner. It's all on you. I know he didn't say that, but it was a comment, so.
This gives you de facto sexual exclusivity. So this is how you get any man you want. You integrate yourself into the day-to-day mechanics of his life by providing instrumental utility, so it would be difficult to get rid of you, and you generously and keep him sexually satisfied so he doesn't look elsewhere. Got it?
Got it? Like, dude, you're not delivering anything of value. You are just being condescending and talking about things in a way that, oh, this is all pro-man. You're just taking Manosphere talking points, putting a little pretty bow on it, and then talking down to women about it, like while trying to pretend I'm doing you a favor here, Brenda. You're telling women to sacrifice their own agency just to get a man. Here's a newsflash, okay? A lot of women are not buying into this and are okay with being single because it's better being on your own than being with men like this. And men can't deal with that. These men specifically. Because there's plenty of men out there with logic and compassion and empathy and basic human brain function that understands that, hey, I want to find my person or people, and I'm not gonna force them to be someone else or do something else or talk about how something is a game.
Now, it's important to appreciate that I'm not advising you to just have a lot of sex with the man that you've targeted. That's good, but it's not foolproof. The language I used was to be the nastiest, sluttiest version of yourself as possible. This technically doesn't mean you even have to have intercourse, because this is relative to your previous sexual experience. This means that if all you've ever done with a man is hold hands, then you better be prepared to do the nastiest, sluttiest hand-holding of your entire life, like all stroking his fingers and rubbing the back of his hand real soft and giving it little squeezes. Do you get it? Like, no matter what you've done, you have to do more with the man you really want.
One, as I've been saying all day. No, you don't. Can we just appreciate how he talks about being the nastiest, sluttiest self, but then also adding in, like, depending on where you, like, what your previous experience has been, that he's just trying to ease up on the, like, here's the stereotype that you have to behave like, and then just saying, like, hey, but if all you're doing is just hold hands, then, like, stroke his hands and hold it and squeeze. I'm losing my mind here. Okay, point for a little bit of context, I guess.
And this is because a man is going to compare your sexual behavior with him against your previous sexual history as a means of measuring how attracted you are to him.
No, he's not. He's just gonna say, hey, do you want to do the things I want you to be doing with me? And if you say no, then he's gonna fuck off anyway. He's not thinking that far. I'm like, okay, she's holding my hand. She's stroking the back of my hand. In her previous relationships or whatever, she's only been holding the hand, but she hasn't done the stroking. One, how does he fucking know? All right? You could have been the nastiest, biggest, sluttiest self and, like, I don't know, you sex club the shit out of it, right? How would he know? You could say, no, I'm a virgin, or, like, all I've done is, like, vanilla missionary. How would he fucking know? Okay, this whole thing falls down on the premise that he does not know inherently. And why would he know? Why would he care? Unless he was there with you, at which point this again does not hold water. Okay. Oh, okay, but you were talking down to women. Go ahead.
No man, especially a high value man with lots of options, is going to feel good about moving forward with a relationship if you've treated other men better in the sexual department. And I'm using this word better from the perspective of men, because remember, it's the cat who decides what milk is good. They are going to feel like a schmuck committing to a woman who has given away the same or a better sexual opportunity more freely, more quickly, and more cheaply to someone else. So your current sexual behavior is titrated to your previous sexual history.
If you are good at what you're doing, if you have the right mindset, your experiences, whether it is romantic, platonic, or sexual, right? If you are in the right headspace, if you have a good approach to it, things will continue to get better the more experience you have with it. Now, he keeps talking about sex. He's not talking about relationships, right? So let's talk about the sexual stuff. The better you get to know someone, the more open communication regarding these things. And don't get me wrong, this type of vulnerability can be really difficult and scary to deal with. But if you have a relationship where you are feeling safe, you can have these experiences and explore little by little where you are comfortable. And then if you overstep something, oh, I didn't like that. Okay, pull it back. Try a different avenue. That's what you do if you have a long-term partnership where you want to explore more sexually. You don't have to, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you have to do in order to grow. That only happens when you feel safe, when you feel comfortable enough with your partner or partners. That's the baseline. That's why a lot of people in long-term relationships says the first time we did it was terrible compared to when we did it in our 5th year of relationship. Our sex life is much better than the first time we did it because we know more about each other. We have pleasure mapped each other. We talk about it. I've said, I like this, I don't like that. And my partner has said, I like it when we do it this way, but not that way. So you learn. That's what you want to do. So that's why no matter what this guy or guys like him say, you need to be comfortable with it and you want to explore it. It doesn't matter what your history is. I've heard porn stars talk about this too. Yes, they do the nastiest, sluttiest thing on camera and all of that stuff. That's their job. But they take a different approach when it is a real relationship and they take step by step and exploring what they actually like. Just because they do something on camera doesn't mean that that's what they enjoy. It's work. But they talk about how they pleasure map and they talk and they try different things and behave in different ways. That's the whole point. Take it for what it is and what you want it to be. No number of you throwing yourself at this man is going to change whether or not he likes you. And if it does, throw him out. He's not a good person. Because if someone isn't in a relationship with you because they want to be in a relationship with you, no matter what other stuff is going on, they don't want you. You are a thing. You are a placeholder. You are not a person. Therefore, take care of yourself. I'm halfway through this fucking video, which is like, what, 15 minutes? And I've been recording for 40 minutes. Well, go ahead.
This means that if you've had sex with a guy on the first date before, guess what? You're going to have to do that with this guy. Because
absolutely not. What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't have to have sex with anyone. You don't have to do anything. This pisses me off. No, just because you slept with someone on the first date previously does not mean that you have to do that moving forward. Any person, regardless of gender, that says something like this, throw them the fuck out. He just said you have to have sex with someone on the first date. No, you do not. And you, doctor, fuck you. There's this thing, right? I don't think this guy is an actual psychologist. And the reason for that is that he uses very surface level psychology to explain things. It all conveniently reinforces these men's already held beliefs. It's pandering at its fucking finest. And I do not understand how men are not more insulted by that. And it's like, you need to be talked down to like you're 5 and you can't have nuance because it'll confuse you. He's talking down to you. He is thinking you are a simpleton the way he talks. Whew, okay, I need to breathe a little bit. Over the past 10 years, give or take, we've had like a lot of therapy speak coming into social media, being co-opted, everything. He's gotten his life on its own, but the baseline is still the same, right? People using words or language that comes from therapy that is meant to help empower you, and they are co-opting it and turning it and twisting it into something else. In regards to this guy is using those terms that are already established and familiar to the general public in order to convey his message. Adopting a simpler way of speaking does not mean that you don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't mean that the content of what you're saying is of any less value or worth. It just means that you have adapted your messaging to the target audience. That's not the problem. The problem is like guys like these take those things that we are familiar with and then twisting them into fitting a narrative. I took a beginner course in high school about psychology, the 101 thing. It was like one semester. And all the things I remember from that course, this guy is using. And the difference is that I'm not claiming to be a psychologist. I am someone who just observes and I learn on my own. I am not someone who is speaking with authority on a subject and then causing harm. Because this type of narrative, this feeding into someone's delusion to this level, is causing harm, which in my personal opinion would mean that he should not, like, he should be barred from being allowed to do this, like, do this professionally. I mean, no one can stop him from making videos, but I hope that he is not doing this with actual patients. I really hope he's not. But as I mentioned, I don't know if he is an actual psychologist. I can't verify it, but I severely doubt it, because full-fledged psychologists, or even those who are learning or studying this, tend to be so careful with the word choices they make, like what statements they make. And they tend to use disclaimers that very clearly say, hey, this situation here, or this type of behavior indicates, or for you specifically with your history, blah, 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 right? They make sure you know it's not generalized. They make you know that this thing that they say is for you, with your specific circumstances, etc. They don't make sweeping statements like this dude is doing. They don't say stuff like, this is how all people with narcissistic traits behave, or all men value sex about everything. Women have to put out in order to be treated with basic human respect. Like, they don't say, okay, that last one is a little bit embellished a little bit. Because this dude speaks in a calm and controlled manner, using common terms, therapy speak terms, and surface level psychology to pander to the men that already believes this stuff, that are part of the manosphere. He is reinforcing already established ideas and norms and entitlement amongst these groups. He's using psychology to give them validity, to give these men something to point towards and go, see, psychology says it's normal and okay that I remove your humanity. That's what this dude is doing. And he's basically just ripping off Peterson, but with less stereotypical highbrow academia behavior and intonations. That's what he's doing. And what it comes down to, it's a grift. All of this is just a grift. He identified this manosphere, these people, as easy targets to get money from. So he is pandering to them, saying exactly what they want to hear, but giving it some highbrow authority kind of validity to it, so that people go, well, he's a doctor, he's a psychologist, so therefore I'm comfortable giving him my money. Like, that's all he's doing. Peterson is a grift. This guy is a grift. Tate is a grift. They are saying what you want to hear because that will make them get money from you. They want you to stay isolated and miserable, because then you will just keep coming back to hear them reinforce what they are the cause of. If their methods worked, their sales on their books and their courses and the views on their videos would be dipping, not rising. If you found success through these things, you would not still be there. They want you to be miserable, because miserable people are easier to manipulate. And you, at this point, if you belong to this group, if you believe this stuff, are easy to manipulate. They want your money. They don't care about you. That's all they do. That's their whole shtick. I know that the people who have bought into this stuff, hook, line, and sinker, aren't gonna listen to me. You're gonna have to claw your way out of this on your own. This is me talking to the people who are kind of dipping their toes into this content, because life is really shit and it's easier to blame an external thing for all your problems, as opposed to accepting that it's shit for all of us. No matter what. We are watching the world crumble around us, the economy is absolute garbage, and we're just trying to get through the day. That is true for everyone, but it is easier to look at someone, and in this case, women, and say, hey, everything wrong in the world and in my life specifically is your fault. Take accountability for it. You are responsible for making sure that it changes, instead of looking inwards and saying like, hey, I need to do my part. I need to not only take care of myself, but I also need to extend understanding and compassion and support outside of myself. Because you shitting on a woman in this case might give you temporary reprieve from what you're feeling, simply because for that split second, you are not thinking about yourself. Your attention is elsewhere. It might help you for a second, but when that moment is over, you're gonna be right back there, miserable and lonely, and the only difference is that you've made the world a little bit worse for other people. Your life stays the same, except that if you do this enough, those few people you already have in your life are gonna distance themselves from you, and you're gonna get even more isolated and an easier target for these types of people. Do yourself the favor of taking a step back and consider that you need to take ownership for your own actions. It is easier to blame others, but that's not gonna change things. If you want to improve your life, if you want to improve yourself, you have to take that step. You need to make that happen. Hating on women, hating on Black people, hating on gay people, it's not gonna change anything for you. The best case scenario is that nothing changes, and worse is that you are going to be alone and lonely and miserable for the rest of your life. You gotta own that. Take the steps, make the changes you want to see. I just went off. I went off a lot there. It's something I wanted to say, but yes, I guess keep going.
Because if the guy you want finds out that you made him wait, you're going to have trouble. Why? Because regardless of your feelings, those other guys were able to access the same or better sexual opportunity more cheaply. This means that if the guy you want requests certain sexual behaviors and you tell him that you've tried them before with other men and you don't like doing them, you're going to have trouble. Why?
Did he seriously say, hey, I don't like them? Well, shut the fuck up and do it anyway if you want to keep me? What in the ever-living fuck-tard what in the... Ooh, okay. I don't care what your gender is. You do not say shit like this. You do not enact shit like this. This is the type of thing, the type of language that rapists use, that rape apologists use, that our society is using to pressure people into doing things they do not want to do. And it is unacceptable that you are spreading this type of rhetoric under the disguise that this is to make your life better. I don't often get pissed the fuck off. This is unacceptable. I'm gonna end this reaction here because he has said everything he needs to say for me to understand that this guy is worth nothing. This guy has absolutely no credibility, no authority to stand on, and absolutely is a trash human being for spreading this and putting people in positions where they, one, think that this is acceptable, and two, putting people in positions where they think that they have to endure shit like this. They do not. I am so angry right now that I do not really know what to do with myself. This thing is unacceptable. And I hope that if he is a real psychologist, that there are people out there that are keeping him from working as one, because this shit is unacceptable. as a normal civilian, regular ass fucking person, but to have someone who is weaponizing psychology to this level to put onto women and further the harm that is done unto them by saying, you have to do this. It is unacceptable if you don't, and it is your fault. If you are a man, is this the type of relationship you want? Is this truly the type of relationship you want? Are you looking for people who are feeling that they have to sleep with you? Are you looking for people who are looking for a relationship where it's tits for tats? Are you looking for that type of transactional relationship? Then you found it. But if you are the type of man who wants a relationship with someone or someone's where you are treated with compassion, the compassion and kindness that you say you want, this is not the way to go about it. You need to put in the time on improving yourself, but also put in the time to find the people that you like, that you vibe with, that you want the same thing as them, that you are willing to compromise about things for. You need to know what you're looking for, because otherwise guys like this doctor is going to swallow you up and make your life worse. Because if you are a type of man who says that you want a loving relationship where you are best friends with each other and you feel safe and respected and valued, this way is not the fucking way. Is this the type of relationship you want? Where it is transactional and cold and no one really wants to be there because everything is a numbers game and everything is a marketplace and value and low value, high value? Is this the type of world you want? Because if anything here you say no to, you need to step up and be a force for change. And you are not alone in this. There are millions, if not billions of people that agrees with you. This is not how it's supposed to be. You need to start speaking out for what you want. If you want a kind and loving and safe relationship, you need to find those people that want the same thing, and you need to extend the same behavior to them that you want. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It's not that hard. You're going to meet awful people, but your job is to make sure that you are not one of them. Everyone deserves love. Everyone deserves respect, compassion, safety. If you follow this guy's advice, you are taking that away from other people and you are setting yourself up for failure. Go to an actual credited psychologist, because I swear to you, they would never say something like this. Therapy Speaks talks about boundaries and keeping your peace. This guy is not talking about that. He is saying that you should not have any agency, no boundaries, no safety, no nothing. That's what he is speaking about. And a real psychologist would never say that. They would be looking at you and saying, what do you want? Let's see if we can figure out how to get there. And they would never tell you what to do. They would tell you, here are some things that you can try and see if they work for you or not. If you truly want help with figuring out and having a better life, there are real resources out there. There are real psychologists out there that will want to help you. And I know I haven't had access to psychologists until earlier this year. I really haven't. I've wanted for years. What I have done up until the moment is to make sure that I do my research and looking into a range of different people talking about psychology. And the key thing I'm looking for that makes sure that they are someone to listen to is, do they have compassion, or are they telling you what to do even if you don't want to do that? Because if it's the latter, stop watching. If it's the former, there's stuff you can learn. Now, I got so freaking pissed off here, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but please be kind to yourself. Please, please don't do anything you don't want to do. Don't ever feel the need to have sex with someone or hold hands with anyone you don't want to. Don't put yourself in harm's way just to please someone else. It's not worth it. And if you're a chronic people pleaser like I am, it is okay if the person you're pleasing is yourself. In more ways than one. Thank you very much for being here. If you like this type of content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe, and let me know down below what your thoughts on this subject is. And please just be kind to yourself. Please be safe. Please be kind to others. So, thank you very much for being here. I hope you have a good day, night, wherever you are in the time stream, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!